I just want to read you a couple of lines from something that I've run across lately. I don't know if I'd call this a poem necessarily. It is a song, it's song lyrics. I'm going to read these and just have you try to figure out what this is about. Never
Okay.
felt this free before. I'm high and I'm getting higher. Chains don't rattle no more. Good Lord, I'm feeling lighter. They were cold, cold, way too heavy. Wear me down like a broke down Chevy. Till my soul was good and ready to lay them burdens down. I was shackled and battling in a war with myself. I was praying and praying my way out of that hell. Same old boots, but they're off the ground. Devil try to catch me now. What do you think I'm talking about?
Kicking a drug habit.
Okay. I think that's plausible. Sure. Okay. What else? What else could it be?
Looking at the state of U.S. men's national team goalkeeping and reconsidering every choice you've made in life.
You know, you were actually closer with the second one than the first one. I don't know
Okay.
what Jelly Roll was intending necessarily when he wrote Lighter.
Who
It did
really
not
knows
seem
what
like
Jelly Roll's
he
ever intending? Let's be honest.
it did not seem like he was saying, "Hey, let's write a World Cup anthem which brings people together to watch soccer games," but that's what we have. That is the new song that they have rolled out a couple weeks ago for watching this World Cup. It's going to play incessantly. It's like you're being sold a truck. It's got that kind of insistence and that kind of gravelly
Okay.
vocal type of thing. It's got some stomping, a lot of stomping, like kind of drum beat thing, but yeah, it's got vibes, and the vibes are not international soccer tournament.
Well, we sure have come a long way from the vibes of 1994 World Cup mascot Striker.
I don't know about that, man. I like Striker.
I'm saying the downslide from Striker has
Okay.
been precipitous. You know, those were the glory days, and we're far, far from them now.
From Striker to Jelly Roll is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Jelly Roll also the mascot?
No. No.
Do we have a mascot?
Well, because it's triple hosted.
Oh yeah.
It's a triumvirate.
Okay. Oh.
Maple the Moose from Canada, Zayu the Jaguar from Mexico, and Clutch the Bald Eagle. It is like a Dora the Explorer movie from
Yeah.
hell.
I'm seeing this now. His name is Clutch.
Clutch. Clutch the Bald Eagle.
Clutch feeling lighter.
Yeah. I miss Striker, man.
Emergency tangent. We ain't gonna talk about it. Emergency tangent. It's an indulgence. Emergency tangent. Yeah, 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 yeah. Geek out, big nerd. Freak out, big nerd. Shut up. Emergency tangent. It's an indulgence.
Indeed, a hearty howdy, hello, how are you, and good day to the Verde All Day Nation. It's another emergency tangent. I'm Moisés Chiullán. Joining me, as always, the editor-in-chiefiest, the director of all things words and pictures and sounds
And numbers.
and numbers, and especially numbers. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Phil West. Phil, what are we doing today? Why are we jumping out on a tangent aside from the fact that there was an international break?
Well, there's an international break, and an international break means that there are teams, in this case here, qualifying for the World Cup. It will not be Ukraine. It will not be Albania, as we found out. So we will not have that level of Austin FC representation in our World Cup, unfortunately. But the U.S. is one of the co-hosts, of course, along with Canada and Mexico. We may see Facundo Torres playing for Uruguay. He is on international duty with them as we are recording this. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to, aside from skewering Jelly Roll, which is always fun, and especially since this might be the worst World Cup anthem since Pitbull, and this probably even surpasses Pitbull. I think Pitbull's better.
Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
dead on there.
Good. We're in alignment. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to talk about U.S. jerseys. One of our favorite topics, jerseys, not necessarily the U.S., but love to look at kits, compare kits. And of course, the U.S. has a long and storied history, and they have unveiled two new ones, which are modifications of, in my opinion, what they should be doing all along. They have a variation of the Waldos, the red and white hoop striped home jerseys. I'm referring to them as the Bacon Waldos because they are wavy lines. They look like bacon, not unlike the 1994 home jersey, which had bacon vertical lines. These are bacon horizontal lines. So if horizontal lines make you look heftier, then them made out of bacon will make you look even more heftier. And then the away jersey is blue with white stars, but not white stars per se, kind of a hint
Offset.
of starry goodness
Yeah.
among the blues. So I'm actually kind of loving the direction, and we'll get into our top five and you'll see where my aesthetic might be. But Moisés, we're going to talk about your aesthetic as well. This was your brainchild, I think, in part,
I mean,
or in most.
jersey speculation and critique and criticism are a big thing for me, where something that you and I have talked about, maybe not on the show, is that I've never felt unwelcome as a U.S. women's national team fan. As a U.S. men's national team fan, not just some of the environment among the fan base, but there is something that goes back to my past in youth soccer, where there was very much a vibe of, I'll put it this way. There are a lot of reasons why Kobe Jones is my favorite player on the 1994 U.S. men's national team. I looked up to him. I related to him. There were things that I heard classmates' dads say about him and whether he deserved to be on the team other than this white player, this other white player, this other white player. And I have a bit of a weird relationship with the men's national team that I don't with the women's national team. The women's national team, the most ardent fans and the most vocal part of the fan base, there are people who cheer for both. But I've never felt unwelcome at a watch party. I've never felt broed out. And that extends to the way that I feel about some of these designs, which feel like somebody's frat brother decided that this was a good idea and this is what the jersey's going to be. And it looks like a golf shirt, or it looks like something unintentionally square that is about as square as it can possibly be. You mentioned this year's New Jerseys. I consider the one with the stripes the wavy Waldo gravy. It feels like a Ben and Jerry's pint. It looks terrible on TV, we've found already. I get the idea. I get the push toward it.
It looks terrible when it's next to a Belgium jersey that looks almost like it.
Yeah. To me, that's part of the problem, is that it will inevitably get paired next to various almost white shirt, but not quite white shirt jerseys, because ostensibly the color would contrast right with the other one, or somebody in some front office screwed something up. Frankly, I think it was down to both teams wanted to play in their home jerseys, and neither one of them won the pissing match. Frankly, it would have been a better opportunity to show the contrast of the new away jersey, which I've seen both of these in person. And the away jersey is so dark of a navy that it is almost indistinguishable from black. And when the initial leak photos of it came out, I was like, that's an interesting tribute to a fallen republic. I don't know if it's going to work. And I think it remains to be seen how it's going to actually photograph and look on TV. But the thing I like about it is, here's the conundrum. What is it about a jersey that says USA? Does it need to be a flag turned into a shirt? This is a conundrum that many teams have solid block colors. But the U.S. flag is a complicated thing. It's white and two primary colors and two different design elements, stripes and stars. So do you just do everything, or do you do half of it on one shirt, half of it on the other shirt, or do you split the difference in impossible fashion and not really commit to much of anything? And one that comes to mind that is almost a great version of simplicity to me is the 2016 away jersey, which was a black shirt with a red right sleeve and a blue left sleeve.
Yeah.
In terms of the simplicity, you got one step of the way there. You forgot to design the rest of the jersey.
Right. I think that's too simple. I do like the idea and we'll get to this in a bit. I like the idea of taking that red and white stripes element and putting that in a home jersey, taking the blue field with the white stars and putting that in an away jersey.
Yeah.
And then you can mix and match the two in cases and be successful, but you have to be pretty artistic about how you do it. But there's a simple way to do that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Say what you will about the US flag and the color scheme and all that, but I do think it's really distinctive, and I do think that you can pull that off in a way that you might not be able to with all the flags that are out there. Like, for example, try to make a jersey out of the South African flag. I mean, it's a beautiful flag, but
it's gorgeous.
Way too many colors.
Yeah, I think some really beautiful stuff could be done with it with the right ingenuity behind it. But the thing to me with the US jersey is, how do you use the elements of the flag and not have it be the Carol Burnett sketch where they turned the curtains into a dress and you're just taking a flag and you're making a shirt out of it? Like Olive and York would do these like off-brand US national team jerseys. One of them that in concept, I get what they were going for, but was never for me, was the one that uses the text of the Declaration of Independence.
I have that in my closet. I did a story a couple years ago. It was for the Striker. It was a joint thing with the Striker and the Daily Dot. I was just doing a little look before we recorded. I cannot find either of those stories online because the Daily Dot pulled some content. The Striker you can not currently find online, but it was a really amazing story. And basically what they did is they were just, I forget what cycle it was, but they were really distraught with how the US jerseys looked. And so they just decided we're going to make our own. I think it might have been the 22 cycle.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah. When that happened and those came out, they just reached out to designers and said, hey, can you do better? And the designers said, yeah, and came up with some designs that I thought were actually really inspired.
Yeah. I think the thing for me with the Declaration is the concept of it is novel. And frankly, compared to, and there are people like Alexi Lawless who will disagree with me, the vast majority of U.S. national team jerseys have been awful. That's my feeling. Awful. Okay. Just absolutely terrible. Like, I want to run down a few of them that might even be included on your list.
In your car? Or
no, just run them down verbally. The 2015 away, which I refer to as the chromatography blue one, which gets gradually lighter blue as you go to the top.
Yeah.
You know what? A novel idea would look great as a warm-up. Like, that to me is my recurring note, is this would be fine as a warm-up shirt. Like the hoops from the 2018 home and away, or the pseudo hoops, the gradient hoops. Okay. Like, I get it, but it's just so many of them to me have been either here's a golf shirt, or here is a version of a golf shirt without a collar, which I would classify like, my Edna Mode note is no sashes. No more sashes. I'm sorry. I can't do it with the sashes. Like, at the time that the men's team had the sashes, the women's team had the surgical scrub tops that had a diagonal line that it literally looked like a tied surgical top, where I don't know why Nike was obsessed with diagonal lines at the time. And then there have been cases where it's like, hey, hoops seem like a good idea, but then they don't really, to me, with the exception of the Waldo, ever live up to the true potential of hoops. It's like, let's do hoops, but do just one hoop, or one big red stripe with two little white lines like the 2006 away.
You might be setting up for the bomb pop here.
I'm about to come for the bomb pop. I don't like the bomb pop. That's probably the
most. I don't either.
Okay, good. We're both safe. We're both safe for each other, but we're not safe from the people who love the bomb pop. I don't get the bomb pop.
I get why it's loved. I
get why it's loved. I just feel it. Vehemently disagree with all those reasons. But like the 2006 home, instead of going horizontal with the stripes, it's just one blue and red stripe that goes through the badge on the left side. And it looks like F1 livery, and that's cool. Would be a great warm up, but
it's all right.
It's all right. It just doesn't quite do it for me. To me, the things I dislike about the bomb pop, I also dislike about the 92, 93 shoulder stripe era of things, which we saw in MLS, the league template, 3 stripes on the shoulder thing that every team has had foisted on them. I've just never been a big fan of it. And here's the thing. You and I will both proudly wear France jerseys as people of French extraction. They look like France jerseys. Like, I get that the U.S. has a very close relationship with France. Vive la France. But Give me a U.S. jersey that looks distinctly like a U.S. jersey, not a French jersey that happens to have a U.S. emblem on it.
Yeah. Well, you've seen the new French away jerseys, right?
They're awesome. They're 10 times more awesome than, I would say, many of the last 20 years of U.S. jerseys.
They are Statue of Liberty green, and they are glorious.
And yeah, so they're...
And that was the intention. That's what they were going for.
The patinaed green, and then the badge having the unpatinaed copper look to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've got to have it. But I don't find myself saying that about the U.S. ones. So one more thing on design before we dive in, going from 5 to 1 with our lists. Okay. For me, the big thing is what you keyed in on, which is that balance of are you serving the ingredients that you have available to me in an interesting and dynamic way that looks good on the field, that looks good in motion. My other big Edna Mode thing is no more plain white shirts. And yes, it's a plain white shirt, even if it has blue and red accents on it. It's been done. It's been done. Yeah. It's been done. It's been done. We've seen so many of them. Do something different with a quote unquote plain white shirt that makes it less plain and less, well, everybody could have one of these. That's my thing. And don't even get me started on the 2024 away melted bomb pop. Good God. Or that horrendous 2022 blue tie-dye monstrosity. Also,
that was bad.
Sorry. Is it 1914? No more centered crests. No, we're done with them. Never again. Never again.
What about the 2021 where the barcode kit mated with the US kit?
Okay, I'll say this. The 2021, it gets my honorable mention. I gave it an honorable mention because it's insane. Yeah. I love an insane jersey. I
do too.
I know that people the Las Vosas, the Austin Las Vosas barcode kit, I think is mostly roundly hated because of people's sense memory attachment to what the team played like wearing it, even though I would say that it was actually, we should look at the statistics on this. I think it was a less cursed kit than the Sentimiento jersey, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so crazy kits all day and all night. I'm down for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I do think that 2021 was better as a women's jersey.
I think it's just a great jersey, and I don't want to tip my hand.
Maybe the women just played better in it.
Well, the women always play better in a U.S. jersey, Phil. We both know this. That's why I've nicknamed the women's team the Stars, because they've actually won their stars. And the men's team the Stripes, because they still need to earn them. I'm going to keep throwing shade at the men's team. I don't have a choice. It's just, I've got to. I don't have an option. Like some of them seemed that proud to run around in the 2022 home jersey that looked like a stormtrooper uniform. Come on, guys, got to get it together.
So tell us how we're going to do this.
We're going to go Phil first and then me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back and forth. Some of our picks very well may overlap. And we will both have opinions and things to discuss as we go through them. And we'll get into some of the same stuff about what we've said already about what makes for a good U.S. jersey, why that pick, have a pick that people who think that the rules are hard and fast about this, which might include yourself, it's going to absolutely enrage these people, and I don't care. So, Phil, start us off with your number 5 pick.
And just to be clear, we do not know what we have picked.
We have no idea what the other person has picked.
This is all complete surprises. Yeah, no consulting, nothing has happened. Okay.
Complete surprises.
Number 5, you mentioned this as one that you didn't like. I normally don't like this kind of execution, but I thought it was real good in this case because of the colors they used, the design choices they made. The 2018 away. So this is the alternating shades of blue stripes on one side with kind of diagonal barrier and then the dark blue other side. I like hoops, and I thought it was a creative way to represent the hoops and get different shades of blue into the jersey, not unlike the different shades of green that Austin FC is experimenting with in their jerseys. It just all happened to be in the same jersey, but I think it was executed well. And the funny thing is, like, the corollary, the home kit, which were the kind of red and blue gradient stripes with the diagonal, I didn't really like that much, but I think the execution was really, really good on these. So I'm giving this number 5.
So I can totally respect it. My only real big issue with it, and it was never going to be my number 5, but it was at least in contention, even though I knew I wasn't going to pick it. I can respect it. I just felt like they didn't go far enough, that I wanted to see some incorporation of stars. Like, if you're going to use blue, do something with stars. Do
Sure.
something with the star field, whether you do the kind of deboss look that you have in the 2026 away.
Big star sash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more like if you're going to have the gradient trail off, then maybe incorporate stars going across instead of just having empty dead space. Use the canvas. That's all I want, Phil. That's all I want.
Yeah. Okay.
So my number 5, I have picked a similar but not quite same vintage, also an away jersey.
Okay.
This is one that people will go, you got 5 choices and you picked that? The 2020 paint bucket away kit with the blue paint splatter down the right shoulder. You want to know why? Because it's nuts. Because it's stupid. Because you should only do one like this once. What I like about it is that you look at the entire history of U.S. national team jerseys, and I'm never going to like a camo jersey. If you want something approximating camo, fine. Here, this is as close as I'm going to allow you to have a camo U.S. national team jersey. I like it because it runs completely counter to the basic design language of the flag while still making interesting use of colors and stuff. It's an outlier. That's it.
And it's not a specific body of water in an island. It just looks like that. It just randomly.
Yeah, I just like blue. I like a big blue jersey. I like federal blue, Phil. I just want more play.
So what to you then makes this different from the 22 kit? Because I find them pretty similar in their aesthetics.
The 22 is horrendous. Like, if you want to look at it as evoking tie-dye, it doesn't even look like tie-dye.
I don't want to look at it, but
I don't want to look at it either. You're the one making me. So to me, the differentiation is one of them is just patterned like topographical map. There's some intention behind the design. The 2022 is, and this wouldn't have been a thing then, but it's, hey, ChatGPT, generate me something that looks like tie-dye, and ChatGPT comes back with something that doesn't actually look like tie-dye or good or anything that anybody wants. With the silliest, let's put the Nike logo on both of the sleeves so that they both go the same direction, which is also insane. So there we go, Phil.
I can see that.
So that's my first crazy pick that's going to drive people crazy.
Okay.
That's all I got. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine. I think
what's your number 4?
You know how you hate white jerseys?
Mm-hmm.
Centennial jersey. This is the only white one I would consider. 2 reasons for this. I mean, it is a plain white jersey, and typically not down with that. I do not think that should be the home kit. But
and to be clear, which one is this specifically?
This is the 2013.
The 2013. Okay.
The Centennial kit. Well, there's actually 3 reasons. So one, I think the execution of this is really good. So it's white with blue piping, basically on the sleeves and on the collar. I absolutely love the crest. And this is back when the US was still using that god-awful like MS Paint soccer ball exploding out of the US. And this was their transition, I think, to the new badge, which now is just the USA with the stripes, which is simple, but I think it works. I think it's effective, and I think it's good. And I think it's evocative of that Centennial kit, although I would have really liked to see them just retain that as the logo, because it's got the 13 stars, it's got the stripes, looks sharp. It says US without saying USA across the breast like it is now currently. And also I just have really good memories of that World Cup. I went to the snow game in Denver and saw them win in that, and they had a really good qualifying run in that for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, and that was a really good team. That was a lot of fun to watch. So I just have really good memories associated with that. Yeah, normally I would just say, no plain white kits, but this was one that I thought was done really well, and not all of them have been.
Not on my list, not because I think it's a bad jersey, but just because I had other plans and strategies, and because I figured you would put this one on there. Among the different white shirts, it is my favorite for exactly that reason that you pointed to on the crest. I don't know that I necessarily want the 13 colonies badge on every jersey, but for the commemoration of the centennial, it is to me, a perfect example of right place, right time, right moment in U.S. soccer history to use that badge. The infuriating thing, though, Phil, is that right after that, they went back to the terrible cartoon soccer ball US badge
Yeah,
for
they
the
did.
next 2 years until they switched to
Yeah.
what we now consider the standard crest in 2016. And so thinking about how good the 2013 is, albeit as a white t-shirt, for its time, for that moment in US soccer history, I wish there were more of that level of purposeful decisions that have been made.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I have a blue warm-up jacket with the Centennial badge and red stripes down the sleeves. Just a single red
So
stripe
good.
down each sleeve. And
So
it says
good.
USA on the back.
Clean.
It slaps.
Full.
It's simple, but it's just such smart design, and it just rocks. And like an away kit like that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, and like it doesn't have to scream the thing that bugs me. Let's be USA, USA, USA. Let's do the Viking clap. That kind of thing of let's represent exactly one kind of US sports culture. Embracing the diversity of this country, this nation, is something that I think it's undersung down to the design details of what you see in these jerseys, of celebrating the fact that we're not just a nation that split off from Great Britain. We're not just Great Britain other version. That's the thing, is what is it about this that makes it distinctly American, distinctly the US national team? So Phil, I pulled a trick on you.
Okay. What's your
I
number
got
4?
So my number 4 is 2 jerseys. Because I'm also doing U.S. Women's National Team 2023 World Cup jerseys because they were unique to the women's national team.
Okay.
And they were both good. And I wanted to pick something very recent. Unfortunately, most of the recent jerseys are terrible. But to me, the pair of Women's World Cup jerseys, the home jersey that was the paint splatter kit, which I love paint splatter. I love ink blots, that kind of thing. I enjoy it. I'm amazed that I got 2 MS Paint Tool jerseys squeezed into my top 5. And the thing that I like about the 23 away jersey that is the shades of blue tiger stripes, let me give one of my entire picks to the women's national team.
Right. Okay.
Because they haven't always been served incredibly well by the things that have been unique to them.
Remember the black and neon green monstrosity?
I don't want to talk about it, Phil. I don't. I explicitly do not. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about the zipper pull 2011s. Let's talk about those that look like a hoodie without a hood or sleeves that's just been zipped down 2/3 of the way with an undershirt underneath it. Let's talk about those marvels of jersey engineering.
Or we can move on to number 3.
Yeah. So number 3, what do you have at number 3?
Yeah. I mean, I guess verdict is still out in a way because I haven't seen these live. But again, this is the concept that I think the US should be going towards. So I'm saying the 2026 aways. Like I'm saying right now
Bold.
that, again, maybe this is a case of how Navy are these, none more Navy.
None more Navy, indeed.
But I like that we are moving towards that part of the flag for the away jerseys. I think that should be a consistent thing that the US does. So I'm glad to see the attempt. And again, not sold on the 26 homes because I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to merge the Waldos and the 94 home kits. And while I respect what they were trying to do, I don't think the execution's all that hot. I mean, I kind of feel like that's going to grow on me, but I don't feel compelled to go out and get one of these jerseys.
I think I'm glad that they're moving in this direction, and I would love for them to look better on TV than I think they're gonna look. I think they went too OLED in an LED world where they're banking on people having much better contrast ratios on their TVs and the cameras being full HDR for people to actually have it look like anything other than just a solid color shirt. But I like the direction that this takes us. And when we get through our top 5, we'll do a little bit of design is my passion. Here's what they should do if we were in charge of all the jerseys. I think there's definitely something to this. And so here's the strange thing, Phil, is unintentionally, my number 3 touches on exactly what you were getting at, where this is the direction that they should go. And I'm going all the way back to a magical year, 1974. The 1974 away shirt, which was just a blue Adidas shirt with stripes on the sleeves. That's it. That's all it is. I think you go simple, you go blue.
That's so simple.
It's so simple. Look at the 1984 home jersey. It's this, but with some kind of offset diagonal stripes across the front. In red, that in red is the away, in blue is the home for 84.
Yeah.
But if you do this kind of bright, vivid blue, the real like solid, vivid blue of the flag, the bright, brilliant blue of the better Puerto Rican flag, which
But that's not flag blue.
It's
Or
not
US
flag blue.
at least.
It's not flag blue.
It's French flag blue.
It's French flag blue, and there have been a lot of U.S. flags, Phil. We can get into color values, but I like the bright pop of that kind of blue.
Okay.
I think it shows up better, and I think for me, I want to see something simple like this. That when we get into the design is my passion section, I'll get into how I think they can iterate on. So what is the away blue shirt going to look like? And how do you keep it interesting? And how do you keep cycling ideas through using this as a base? But why not just a nice, simple blue thing like this that has maybe an alternate crest on it? Maybe that's what they use an alternate eagle crest for. We've got a cool national bird. There's got to be a way to make it look cool. And
without like an American Eagle logo.
Exactly.
Like the clothing company, not like a
indeed
Eagle from America. Yeah.
What is your number 2, Phil?
Okay. As I appraised the Waldos, you were probably expecting that to be number 1. It is actually number 2, but I do think that this should be the template for all home kits.
I completely agree. And I feel like if you go white t-shirt, there's got to be a compelling reason for it. And how are you making it not just another white shirt? But the red and white hoops, they just work. They just work. I mean, the bacon kit from 94, the vertical stripes, they might be more slimming, but I got to be honest, they're not more pleasing. They're just not.
Right. And they're also Paraguays.
Exactly.
So it's something where I think the U.S. can own this identity. So it was really interesting. So Donald Wine's a U.S. American Outlaws capo, and then he also wrote for a while. I think he might still write for them for SB Nation's Stars and Stripe FC, which I wrote for a hot minute when I was first starting on my soccer journalism path. He went and did a bracket of the best U.S. jersey of all time and got some of the ones that we're talking about, some of the ones that we're about to talk about. And the Waldos were clear winners. And these were based on Twitter votes, not necessarily a scientific poll or anything like that. But there's a lot of people that like them. And I think there's definite reasons why. They're distinctive. They have an identity that is wrapped up in the flag without being punch you in the face about the flag. He said in this article, 41 nations have white home kits, which he said was not a lot, but that does seem like a lot. But then you've got like Germany, England, Ghana. You've got teams that frankly have done better overall in the World Cup than the US, save for 1930, which doesn't really count. And I think the market is kind of cornered on white jerseys. And I think that this is a way for the US to break out and have a home identity that they can then do fun things with. You can have different numbers of stripes. You can have thinner stripes. You can maybe occasionally do diagonal stripes just to be wild. You can do general variations on that, but keeping that white and red hoop aesthetic as the baseline, is the North Star where they go to with the home jerseys. I would really, really want to see that.
I think this leads in really well to my number 2 pick, which is not the Waldo. But instead, it's the one that you're wearing, which is the 2017 Gold Cup, which is, to me, one of the shockingly great examples of, yes, you can incorporate all the different elements of the flag. Stripes, stars, red and blue. I'm assuming this is where we're going for your number 1, so I'll let you take it away from here.
It is, yeah. And again, this was something they rolled out for the Gold Cup. In the Donald Wine articles, he's talking about in terms of this identity, because I think he had another one that was kind of a companion piece to this. He thought about this as a template for a third kit, which I think makes a lot of sense, right? So you've got a blue away, you've got a red and white home, but then you can have some fun with this kind of red and blue element. And the thing about this is good. It's red and blue hoops. It's very simple. They're even with stripes. And then you just have blue sleeves with white stars, like just a single row of white stars up each sleeve. And it's simple. It's perfect. It works really well. I think it's executed fantastically, and I think it looks good. And it provides, again, like we saw with that US Belgium game. Belgium had these kind of like pink and blue atrocities, which did not look like a solid dark color at all.
Man.
They just looked like white jerseys that got in the wash with some red stuff. Whereas this looks distinctively dark enough to contrast with a kind of white based jersey. And so this will work well on TV. This will work well in the stadium. I really like it. And then, yeah, maybe once in a while you just throw a curveball and this becomes like an away kit, just straight up your second kit. And then you do something wacky with blue for the third. Maybe your 2020.
A big piece of it to me is if they can actually get some of the variances of design language where a given home or away may not be exactly to your taste, but you don't just look at it and go, it's awful as usual. Oh God, what has Nike football done to us? It gives you options. When you're dealing with blues, this is the one knock that I have for my own desire for having a blue forward away jersey, or have one or the other of them be blue as a standard thing, is there are a lot of countries that have a blue jersey, a lot of them, a whole lot. Not as many have a red forward jersey. China, Spain, like not as many of them go as hard with reds. I could see even in the same year having the Waldo hoops and having a version of the 2017 Gold Cup hoops where both of them have red incorporated into them, and so many other teams that have red, their alternate jersey is a completely different color for the most part anyway. So you don't run into as many of those issues.
Yeah, Italy has blue jerseys for no good reason. Like it's not even in their flag.
It's not even in their flag.
But they've done it for so long that like they can't do anything else.
Let me get my number one out of the way. And it is probably the most boring of my picks. It's the Waldo. My number one is the Waldo for exactly the reasons that you stated. I mean, it is something that is a perfect template to work from, that we saw the 2026 home didn't exactly do that iteration the way that I think would actually work. Maybe you do something with like sound waves, something that keys into the frequency vibration of people chanting something. You can do different things with those horizontal hoops and keep it interesting.
The Unknown Pleasures album cover, but in white and red.
Exactly. Nobody's gotten tired of Brazil Canary Yellow. You know, there are certain things that just make sense, and the Waldo is one of them. So on the topic of things that just make sense, Phil, design is your passion. The world is your oyster. Okay. If you were in charge of the U.S. national team jersey world, what have you not gotten out of your design portfolio tank that you think is the missed opportunity of missed opportunities?
All denim kit all the time. No, I'm kidding.
Let's talk about the denim kit, Phil. It wasn't on either one of our lists.
It was not. I think it's pretty epic as a concept.
Yeah.
And the execution is not all that bad considering what they were having to work with, given like what corner they painted themselves into. But yeah, it is patently ridiculous, but also kind of glorious because it's patently ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing is, I think the reason that it has become beloved as a relic, I'm throwing shade as I'm complimenting it, of U.S. soccer history is because it's insane. And there are cases where I like crazy when it comes to design, and there are cases like this where it is very much a thing of its time, of when the warp tool was so groundbreaking and amazing and did a lot of heavy lifting on this one. I think there are ways to show tribute to the things about it that are interesting. The Starfield spilling off, it's the sort of thing that you can do with a jersey that doesn't look exactly like it, or that incorporates all the stars as a sash necessarily. But like in my design as a passion side of things, on the how do you make a blue shirt interesting, you can do fake vertical stripes on a blue jersey where the stripes are the stars. So you have the 50 stars all the way down. Even if you do two of them on either side of where the number is going to go on the front of the jersey and run them that way, you could literally just do the 2026 away, but with brighter blue and plain white stars, even offset them a little bit, which plays into some of the denim kit's design language without it looking exactly like the denim kit, which it's truly one of a kind, Phil. We don't need another one of it.
Right.
Like that's a piece of it for me is how can you do something that is kind of what they were going for with the denim kit that makes better use of blue as your canvas. There was an era of Star Trek uniforms that had, for the Next Generation, they had a color block and then like a black set of shoulder pauldrons, like the top of the garment was black. I kind of see like inverting that with maybe the whole bottom part of the shirt is blue and the top part of it is that white star field where they're wearing the stars on their shoulders.
So one thing I've really liked, and this happened a few years ago, Colorado Rapids had, I think it was called the 14er jersey. It was like the peaks that are over 14,000 feet, I want to say. So it was like these kind of topographical maps that were on a white jersey that I thought were really cool. So maybe you can do things with natural features. I mean, when you were talking about kind of the blues, one of the things I was thinking about is picture this. You've got a navy jersey and then you've got down as a sash, but not really a sash, you have the Mississippi River waterways in a lighter blue.
Yeah. I mean, you can do
something like that could be really cool.
Yeah, like waterways of the United States that like the thing I like about the paint bucket spill kit is I like it and I want them to go more intentional and take it further with exactly the kind of thing that you're describing where you can do something that is like stars on the shoulders, call it like the snow cap kit. And use those iconic waterways of the United States for subtle patterning throughout it. Like the thing that drives me craziest about white t-shirt kits is we've gotten into this design language of the 2025 MLS All-Star jersey that had the embossed patterning of Bounty paper towels, where like when that's what you're doing for detail, it just feels like a missed opportunity. Do something that maybe at a distance, people aren't going to see the design subtlety of it. But when you're doing those waterways of the United States, it's something that looks great walking around a stadium 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you know, roll it back out and just reprint it, bring it back is that sort of thing. There's so much to do with that. And so my take on a white t-shirt kit, the one way that I think a predominantly white shirt would actually make sense is going back to the jersey that I made fun of, the 2016 away. That's a black shirt with a blue sleeve and a red sleeve. I wish they would have gone further with it. Make the main part of the jersey white, have the one sleeve blue with star stripes going down it.
Okay.
And on the red sleeve, the white stripes of the flag, the same number of red and white alternating. So you've got basically the whole flag represented on the sleeves and you still have a white shirt. If you absolutely have to have a white shirt, then do a version of that. It's like the 2016 home and the 2016 away were so close to doing something like this. And then they just made something that looked like it's in the cotton casual section of Target that just drove me crazy.
What or maybe you have like maybe you have a white jersey and you have like alternating red and blue stars. And make a pattern so it's still predominantly white, but they're small enough to where there's little pops of color there.
Do a white shirt where the hoops are bands of stars. Use red and blue. Do something. We're just giving this stuff away. Yeah, my other big thing is if they absolutely have to use this Nike created USA badge, which is fine, but not my favorite, please just introduce an alternate crest. Just introduce an eagle crest. They already have one that they print on the inside of the jerseys. Do something that works in the way that MLS has introduced secondary crests for all of their teams. Do something fun with it that doesn't necessarily look like a scary eagle that is coming to attack you necessarily, that just is super brutalist. Maybe, something that is a little bit more fun. Even getting to the point of maybe enraging people, do something a little bit cartoonier as just an alternate crest that they don't have to use all the time, but maybe they use it one time. Right. Just to be fun.
Or you do like a Sea to Shining Sea kit. You have predominantly white, you have light bluish waves, and then the crest is an eagle holding a fish.
I like it. I like it. It's got the Mexican flag vibes of the eagle with the snake in its talons. And another thing is, I think it'd be really cool if at some point the U.S. and Mexico both had the same jersey provider, so that they could have alternate eagle crests that complement one another. That don't have to look the exact same, but that are in conversation with each other. There's there are so many missed opportunities, and to me the missed opportunity that I don't know is going to get any purchase is, as much as the 50 stars are a big thing, I think incorporating U.S. territory somehow in designs would be great.
Sure. Yeah.
The District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, like there is more than just the 50 states to the United States Commonwealth of territories and states that I would love to see properly recognized, because if it is a shirt that is supposed to represent all U.S. citizens and everyone within the bounds of the United States, there are subtle things that don't tip into political interpretation of things that, to me, sells the promise of America and everything the country represents. We fixed everything regarding U.S. jerseys, Phil. What else do we have?
Are there other jerseys that we have to fix?
I mean, so many. How do we do a Freedom Eagle jersey that doesn't look authoritarian? Is there a way to centralize eagle imagery without it looking weird?
I mean, I like the arrows and olive branches.
Yeah,
in a way, but then that maybe kind of emphasizes the arrows.
Some people want to eliminate the olive branches completely. That's the problem. Some people only want one aspect of the bird.
Arrows made of olive branches.
What a good use for olive branches, Phil. What is the worst lesson that you think Nike can learn from these 2026 jerseys? What is the worst learning they can take from this that could send us careening back into the ditch?
Well, I think, and I haven't looked enough at the jerseys, and I know they've gone into this at past cycles, but you tell me. What I've seen from Nike in past cycles, and I think this might have been true in 22 in particular, is you can make one template work for every team. Like, that seems to be what they were trying to push for, and clearly that's bad. You want to have each team have their own identity. You don't want to just cookie cutter stamp the same jersey with that country's colors and call it a day.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we saw in the whole spread of 2023 Women's World Cup jerseys were, I mean, some amazing designs, some glorious designs that, in my mind, were they not purpose built for those specific countries' women's teams and specific symbolism, imagery that was really evocative and important. I'm thinking, I want to say there's a Colombia jersey that looked amazing, a Venezuela one that was incredible. More of that. The Wales women's team got a really cool one that used the design language of love spoons, an ancestrally very, very Welsh thing. More of that kind of stuff, where it's like the design teams are really competing with each other for what is going to look especially cool. I think that the notion of there's the men's team and then also the women's team is very much a thing of the past. And that's something those 4 stars over the crest have done quite a bit to further the notion of U.S. women's soccer being a big, huge thing that I think, admittedly, people need to admit the men's side is catching up to not just the heights of championship wins, but in being recognized as a global force when it comes to football. I think both the men's and women's sides needing to define themselves. Women have already done it. It's on the men to make some of these jerseys iconic, not just because they are the men's jersey, but because they are earning the memories that are attached to them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's, in the end, if a team is playing well in jerseys, they're always going to have kind of more meaning and more import, and you might be more prone to buy them as a tournament progresses or after a tournament, even though they may be really terribly ugly. So.
Well, Phil, we don't have a whole lot else to get to, but I guess we should tease the fact that Phil's going on the road, everybody. Road Warrior Phil heading
As we
out
steer
to the
back
East
into
Coast.
Austin FC land here.
Yeah. Speaking of the 50 states, you're going east, about as far east and south as one can go before it becomes the Gulf of Mexico. What's the plan for this weekend's away match against Miami? Opening new stadium.
Yeah, and new stadium. Yes, it is called. Yeah, I just found out I got credentials, so I'm gonna obviously try to hang out with some of the Austin fans, get the sights, the sounds, the smells, as Spinal Tap would talk about, in figuring out like what that trip looks like, what that new stadium looks like, what the experience is, because it is new. And I think in a lot of ways it's stellar, but I am curious just as to what the fan experience is going to be kind of right out of the gate. And then, of course, the match itself. You've got Austin coming back from international break. You've got, as you looked at my latest article in Verde All Day, I took it to the computers and there are some kind of concerning signs for what the season might hold. So we'll see how correct the computers are. Again, your big working theory all season is that this is a big upset in the making and Austin's coming to spoil the party. So certainly we'll be seeing if that happens. And if they are spoiling a party in Miami, they will not be spoiling a certain party in Austin, is my understanding.
Indeed, there's going to be a wonderful watch party at the one, the only Radio Coffee and Beer South off of Menchaca Road. It's family friendly. They got food trucks. Watch party starts at 5:30 local time, 6:30 kickoff local time. Come hang out. Veracruz never misses. When it comes to tacos, they've also got Shortwave Diner and Wow Poke. So if you're staying in town, if you're not part of the very healthy travel contingent being captained by Phil West, I'm giving him the responsibility, whether he likes it or not. He's responsible for everybody who goes on
I don't
the
want that
road.
responsibility.
Too bad. Sorry, I already gave it to you. Yeah, no take backsies. Come hang out at Radio South for the big party, and let's blow the roof and awning off of that place as we watch the big upset of MLS 2026A in the making. If, like me, I don't know if Phil believes this, but after watching that Belgium game, I feel like they really ought to have Brad Stuver on their depth chart. I've been saying it, and I'm not just saying it because he's Austin's goalie, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Guy shows up clutch. I don't like seeing people sleeping between the sticks.
Yeah, so we will talk. We will
Yep.
preview this game before we'll get one out before I head on a plane, or we'll record before I head on a plane, and maybe I'll edit on a plane, and we'll take it from there. And then we'll probably have very little Jersey talk in this one, although
Very little.
I think we will talk a little bit about jerseys.
Maybe just a touch.
This is the best thing I've heard in the history of the 8 years I've been on this planet.